Welcome, disc golf fans, to the round 2 action of the 2025 Pdga Pro Master Worlds here in Minnesota, presented by ZÜCA. Another Pdga major for us here on our schedule as we thank our Patreon supporters. As always, I'm Derek and this is Chris, and this commentary is weighed by Marshall Street. What's going on, buddy?
Hey man, you look at that weather. It could always turn, but we have sun, pretty hot, a little muggy, but sets up for good conditions for good golf. Shout out Gateway Disc Sports for sponsoring this coverage. As moving over to Kaposia, we were at Blue Ribbon Pines for the first round, and Cale Leiviska up at the top with Lefty Al, we have Yasha Koman, and Ray from Grass Valley finishing it out.
So good spread of where everyone's located, as well as we take a look at some of the other contenders here in the top 10 as we jump in to hole 1. We got a 465-foot par 4. You got a Mando here to that tree on our left. Low-hanging branch, so you definitely want to play a lower shot going downhill. As you beat the Mando, you go work your way back up the hill.
On the tee for the 309 MP40 tee time, we have Cale Leiviska.
And if you're not familiar with Kaposia, it is a park-style course, but do not let that deter you. This is a very wooded, very technical course, and the rough is rough.
Jeez, is it rough. Yeah,
it is really hard to progress down the fairway if you are off.
Not much ground action there for Cale.
309, we have Alan Hermosillo.
We have Alan Hermosillo. We filmed Tim Selinsky in 2019 at Maple Hill.
Oh, that seems like ages ago.
So 6 years ago, first time on our coverage.
Him and I got to reminisce a little bit about that while we were filming, too, which was pretty cool.
Yasha Koman, new to the coverage, out of Oklahoma, born in Ukraine, I believe, off his Pdga profile. And that's basically all you need to do is just get to that short tee pad and make sure you make the Mando.
We have Ray Johnson.
And Ray Johnson, West Coast. It's funny. So he got on through the Pdga number. When you have the lowest Pdga number, it's around 10,000. There was guys who were 15 or 20,000. They're like, when is 15 or 20,000? Like,
Yeah,
the
right.
high number here. So cool to see some legends in the game.
I actually got a text from Barsby earlier before we filmed the round. He's like, "You're filming MP40, right?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "You're going to be hanging out with Ray." So they've known each other since Greg was single digits old. Probably had some influence on Greg's game there. Pretty fortunate. I think that shul was pretty thick there, so being able to get onto the outside of it, very gracious.
Al with the putter, making it look easy.
Man, dissected the hole like it wasn't anything.
A little soft there from Ray. He's going to be looking at a par.
That's kind of a death putt, a little bit, because it drops off pretty bad in the woods there, doesn't it?
I think so. Yasha with the birdie, though. First one to 10.
That's just because Cale was closer.
So this came in pretty easy hole overall. It was 0.4 under par. About half the field's grabbing birdies here. So our lead card doing better than that. But things change very quickly. You go right into the woods. Hole 2, par 3, 425 feet. You have this little hill halfway through. I mean, if you can get past this hill, that's a good shot. If you can get all the way to circle 2 or even circle 1, I mean, you're taking strokes on the entire field here. Very, very challenging hole.
Kissed a little branch, ended up getting kicked left for Cale.
Al trying to flip one up. He's going to catch, but drops right down.
Yeah, all
so
things considered.
Can save par from there.
Ooh, that was grip lock city there for Yasha. Looks like he's trying his best to laugh it off. Still early in the round.
Nice and direct from Ray. That's pretty good. Turned over a little onto the side there, but should be able to progress and possibly save his par.
I think that's a very good play from Yasha, just taking your medicine, pitching out laterally or close to it anyway. The rough is so thick, that's kind of really your only option.
This is a 4 at best, but kicking left now. This is going to be a 5 at best, and this is the type of course that can take your lunch money
quickly.
Dude, I'm like, it doesn't work.
Looks like Allen's going to kick over to the right. He's looking at bogey now as well.
Cale got pretty fortunate there with kind of where he stopped up.
With
leaving
the
him an opening.
forehand.
Yeah, it's a pretty rare sight.
That
from
was
him.
that was cheeky. That was a nice forehand out of him.
We didn't call attention to the fact that Al with the forehand on 1 as well.
Yeah.
Which is not something we see very often. After he threw it, he's like, I got a forehand now. So.
Oh, great shot there
Oh.
from Ray. Goes down a little bit, but he is putting for par. Speaking of that forehand, there's one from Al, and he still has a little bit of work. That's good bogey.
He doesn't look too bothered by it either,
No.
to be honest.
Just move right past it. Gave him a turkey.
The open hand.
But Ray with the par, and that is taking strokes on a lot of the field here. This was the second hardest hole.
Okay, that makes sense.
0.68 over par. I think we know what the hardest hole is, but we'll get there. But yeah, 0.68 over par. Saw 5 birdies on the day.
Wow.
Shout out Matt, Paul, Jeff, Philo, and Ronnie.
Hey, turning over a new leaf nowadays, buddy.
All right, let's fight a little uphill here on the third. Par 4, 500 feet. Very narrow. As you get to the crest, you start working your way back down. Still just as narrow, a little bit more serpentining. Guarded left side of the green from your entry point.
Good looking shot there from Cale.
Yeah, the typical play, I think, is really to just play at the top of that ridge. Mid-range, most likely.
Ray missing his line, but really pushing
Ooh, it
all the
filters
way
to the
down
center.
there. Look at that. Oh, man.
Out cutting the corner almost successfully, too.
Yeah, this sets up for a really nice lefty flex shot, like a long panning right to left with a nice finish.
Yep.
Yasha getting down to the bottom of the hill. Has par on the mind. That was a good tree.
It was, yeah. I'm curious about the angle there. It was very steep hyzer.
Yeah, was he not trying to get to the green, just trying to get down to the hill? be okay with his 4.
Or maybe anticipating it flipping up more. Not sure.
This lefty's going to be looking at a birdie putt. Same with Ray, just outside the circle. Oof. Yeah, there's got to be a gut punch taking a birdie on hole 1 and then going in the woods with a triple. So Yasha really needs to keep his head down and fight through this entire round. There's a lot of golf left.
Good bid, though. Gave it enough. Making it look easy.
Good bounce back.
I love the vibe that Al has on the cart. Just kind of going with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Little win read after the fact. Just double checking.
Tough bogey there. Hopefully we see a bounce back on the 4th.
I can't believe it.
You're up next.
Stay turning. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Ooh. Wow.
Alan inbounds.
That's exactly.
Unbelievable.
All right, back at it on hole 4. Par 3, 355 feet. Definitely reachable for these guys, but just a straight shot basically the entire way. Keep it on the fairway. This was the 3rd hardest hole, so we went from the 2nd hardest. Hole 3 was the 4th hardest, and then this is the 3rd hardest. So we're playing 2, 3, 4
I told you, dude.
within the first 4 holes.
Yeah, and look how tight just on the tee box it is with the rough just kind of hanging over. That's good. Fights through. Still stays on the outside edge.
This is looking good from Yasha.
Just over it.
What? It was a little farther past the basket than you probably want. Oh. Would have been a great birdie there for Al. That's a good par save. 66% of the field took par here, so I would say this came in as the 3rd most difficult, but it was more of people taking par with some bogeys. Only 7 birdies on the day. Field of over 140, I believe, so.
Yeah, I think it's like 148.
Yeah, par frame for the guys.
All right, hole 5, 302, par 3, slightly downhill off the tee as it levels out and approaching the green. Kind of a naturally right to left moving hole.
Look at that.
The lefty says, that doesn't matter to me.
Wow. Lefty Al showing us what a rock does.
So I overheard him talking to the other players that when he first started, most courses moved from right to left. So he had to learn the turnover right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So then when they were started redeveloping course design, he was prepped and ready to go.
Good shot there from Cale as well. He's got birdie on the mind. This is a birdie you want to get. One of the easier holes.
Seems a little high. And now we know why. Kind of a timid approach there, too.
Yeah. Ooh. Little light from Ray. Still looking for his first birdie.
Dang. Conditions are a little warmer on this day. Even though we're in the woods, it still is quite hot.
It's a good birdie there from Cale. Good array of scores there. So we're going to move into hole 6, par 4, 526. Head out in the open, and I would say probably one of the more iconic holes here. So it's right at the entrance of the park. You see this basket right on these rocks. Dangerous green. This is awesome to see. As a fellow lefty,
That green roller
such
disc
a good.
is.
This is such a good roller hole for the lefty. I love it. Getting way down there. If you're getting past that tree, that is a great shot.
Yeah, one of the spotters gave him a thumbs up I think you actually saw them right off the edge of the screen there. And he said, he's like, usually when they do that, it means it's pretty good.
The righties are just going to throw hyzers out here and just not get stuck behind that tree. Cale might have a tricky approach. We'll see. This is looking good from Ray.
This is an example of one of the holes that I think it can deceive you a little bit because that hump in the front of the tee box makes you feel like you have to kind of air it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still kind of a pretty level shot. And another grip lock from Yasha.
Oh, man. Tough one there. Could be some nerves early on here on coverage lead card at a major. That's going to fade out early. You can still get par from over there.
Dang.
I think that's just about edge of circle. Cale's in circle 2 there.
Oh dear. Okay,
No
don't you know?
way, dude.
Brutal. Those damn koozies.
That's crazy.
Ooh.
And we saw a rare jumper from it, too.
Yeah.
Probably Yasha by here, yeah.
And Cale's like, oh, wait, no. Oh, Al's way down there.
It's Alan.
Oh, dang.
Oh. To have such a good roller and
I
then
know, dude.
to take the bogey, man. That one's going to sting.
But here on the 6th, we do have Cale preheating the oven.
I was wondering if these guys were going to get hungry. This was pretty easy. This was the 4th easiest hole. About 50% of the field getting birdie here. Shout out Ray. That's his first birdie of the day. He's kept a clean scorecard.
Right here on the 7th, par 3, 384. I think you know what I'm going to say here. Pretty narrow to the green. That's kind of all I got to say about that. You want to keep it in the middle. Keep it relatively level with your swing to help prevent some of those nasty kicks that could happen, as we see pretty
Smooth.
light work from Cale. The doctor is in. Leaking a little more right than you'd want.
Hey, I think it kicked out.
I like this a lot.
Oh,
Knowing that disc really well, I think it's a real beat 10-time rock. So he knew that hyzer flip real high, riding that right side to just drift and dump back in. Just didn't get quite enough on it.
yeah, it sucks he caught that little tree branch there. That probably would have ended up well inside the circle. Oh, no. The body language shows.
A lot of it.
Yeah, not really a performance that's necessarily indicative of lead card action here. Coming from Yasha so far.
That was a close one there from Al.
And overall, we're not really seeing the lights out putting that we were used to on round 1 either.
No.
So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to head on over there to see all the action there.
Oh. A little low
He
for
kind
Cale.
of stared it down in disbelief.
Yeah. Yeah, when Cale misses and he's like standing there, it's like, oh. Because then he like redoes his putt and it's like, oh, that basket, man. Next round.
Yeah,
You better watch out.
You two are now enemies.
All right. So we'll see what happens on hole 7. Hopefully he can ace it. So yeah, no turkey yet.
What a roller coaster for Yasha, though.
7th hardest hole. We're going to move into hole 8. 490-foot par 4. One of the only holes here where we really see OB come into play, aside from maybe a Miss Mando. Pretty short overall. You just got to throw a nice hyzer out there, and then your second shot should be a pretty stress-free approach.
I really like this hole. Kind of narrow off the tee. Something low that you have to miss.
That almost hit me. I had to move.
If you go too high, there's those telephone poles there. The OB that you mentioned, and then you get back into the woods on the right. On the left. I think it's a well-built hole. We ran into some people while we were flying the drones that were practicing, and they had gotten a couple rounds in. This is what it looks like after they'd been cutting it for a week.
That's crazy.
So you can only imagine what the amount of rain. Ugh. Our first OB.
Sometimes those right to lefts, man. It's hard for the lefties. That's just another grip lock.
Yeah. Little shotgun start here. I think that was one of those anger throws that we see sometimes from some folks, but
Yasha still has some work. This did come in as the easiest hole. So Al taking a par here. Not really what you want. These guys are all close enough to give it eagle bids, really.
yeah.
Ray just making light work of this. And Yasha for his birdie.
Oh, dang. Can't you give the man a break?
Like I said, easiest hole, 0.6 under par.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2/3 of the field taking birdie here. 98 birdies on the day.
All right, let's finish up our front nine here with a par 4 coming in at 600 feet. You're going to push out probably about 100 feet as it doglegs sharp to the right, extremely narrow with a slightly sloping green.
Come on, sit.
That doesn't hold the turn as much as he would want. That may be a little obstructed behind those trees, so we'll have to take a look.
Yeah, you can definitely throw it straight and set up a really good angle, but
You need to know your distance.
yeah.
Like, that's too far. I like to see the play here for the lefty.
Sets up good for a lefty, and he kicks off the tree, and that's
Dang,
going to pinch him.
Short, too. Dang.
I thought Yasha was about to throw lefty. That's
Yeah, with the way that he holds the disc in his
Yeah,
hand. Yeah, that caught me off guard a couple times as well.
So he goes too far as well. He's going to have to pitch out probably or go forehand.
By the angle, that looks like it was in the middle. That one's tough to see. I think that pushed more straight than he would have wanted.
Yeah, just a little too far, and Ray taking his medicine. Smart play.
For sure.
Yasha
Okay.
getting the furthest down the fairway.
If it trickles back to the center.
Ooh.
Whoa, hovercraft. It's fun to watch these back because I don't see it once it crests that hill. So it's fun to see like the reaction on the other side.
Okay, so we know what disc Lefty Owl loves.
Doesn't even have a stamp on it anymore.
That 10-time rock right there.
That's butter.
Flips up and goes straight. Gets past the basket. He's going to be putting for par. And I will tell you, par is a birdie here. Par is very, very good. Cale's not as far right as I thought. He definitely can still get down there as well.
Oh, stable up a little bit. Did that get lucky?
He caught some trees there near the end, I think.
All right.
Yasha's looking
That'll
at a
do.
par. Tap in par for Yasha. It's Cale for his par. Ray for his par. But again, even bogey's not terrible here. I mean, as I expected, and as probably all the competitors expected, this is the hardest hole on the course. Very, very tough.
The shape of it and the tautness, the tightness.
So it was 0.11. It was a stroke over par, basically. It played 5.11. Most difficult hole. There was only 2 birdies on the day. So shout out Alan Jansen and Tim Schrader, the only birdies.
Wow. Congratulations, guys.
Other than that, par's good here. Whew. I feel like I need to catch my breath after all that.
I know. And it only gets more hilly as we go in deeper into the course. So
Yeah.
make sure you bring a bottle of water on the back nine here, folks, as we take a look as everyone in their front nine swing. Joe pushing, trying to fight his way back to lead card. Another shout out to Gateway Disc Sports for sponsoring this coverage. And as always, many thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. If you'd like to help support these videos, head on over to patreon.com/gatekeepermedia for exclusive content. We thank you.
See you then.